Sunday morning. What the heck is going on? Well, with us today is Chairman Jim Jordan. He's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And so many things. On Thursday, we talked about sanctuary cities. How about fraud? The amount of fraud going on in various states. You know, in Minnesota, in California. How can this happen in the United States of America?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. One is when you got a government as big and that much money flowing from our government, I think there's the potential for people to try to abuse the system, and they've obviously done that. I mean, to the tune of billions of dollars, what we're talking about, and it's ridiculous. So one of the things I think we need to do from a legislative standpoint is have more checks and balances on the front end before the dollars ever go out the door, and then of course you also have to prosecute on the back end and because the greatest deterrent is prosecuting people who actually are stealing taxpayer money. And God bless the vice president. He's heading up the effort for President Trump and looking into this fraud and dealing with it. And then, of course, Todd Blanche, the Attorney General, what they're doing at the Justice Department, I think, is very positive, too. They've got a person designated to deal with the fraud prevention and prosecute these people who are stealing taxpayer money. Colin McDonald is that individual. Great guy, great young lawyer who's you know, you saw him at a press event last week where he was talking about all the folks that they are prosecuting up in Minnesota and others that they're now looking at doing, particularly as you mentioned in California. So that's how you have to do it. And because it was so blatant. Remember the case up in Minnesota, John? You had it was called Feeding Our Future, and this lady's now been indicted and prosecuted and sentenced. So I think 41 years in prison. Her name is Amy Box. She was running this operation, and it was set up back during COVID. The idea was to feed kids who weren't in school during COVID. It was to provide meals to kids. The only problem was there were no meals and no kids. They were simply just filling out forms and stuffing the money in their pocket. So there's got to be some checks on the front end where you actually, before the money ever goes out the door, you go see, are there really students here that you're feeding? Where are the meals you're preparing? I mean, those kind of things have to happen. And there's now also finally, I would say, there's been a task force set up in the Oversight Committee, Chairman Comer's committee. There's been a task force set up as well in Congress to focus on this issue as well. So I do think it's getting the attention that it deserves, and hopefully we'll have real results that save Americans, save taxpayers' money.
Well, I think there has to be one last signature before money goes out, because right now the current system didn't work at all, and there's got to be some checks and balances. So the president or whoever has to add one additional signature. Now, also, there was some stuff going on with the on the Supreme Court debates.
Well, we actually had a hearing in our committee on the Democrats' plan to pack the court.
I mean, it's silly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it sure is. But the Democrats, when they say pack the court, what they mean is they want to add 4 new justices, 4 liberal justices. And I remember I raised the point, why 4? Why not 1? Why not 2? Why not 3? Why not 5? Well, they want 4 because right now it's a 6-3 majority conservative court, and they know that 4 gives them a 7-6 majority liberal court, and they want to do that. Now, it's interesting. They don't want to start this until there's a Democrat president. Because I raised the issue, would you be comfortable with adding 4 new justices right now and letting President Trump select those 4 new justices? Of course, they're not comfortable with that because it's all about power for the left. The crazy left wants to run our lives, wants power, wants control, and they're tired of a court that actually interprets the Constitution the way it's supposed to be, looks at the original intent of the folks who wrote the Constitution. They don't like that. They like this living, breathing approach where they can make the Constitution into whatever they want to at the time that fits their political advantage. So, so we had a hearing on that. I thought it was a good hearing where we were able to, I think, demonstrate that, just what the Democrats are trying to do.
Don't they, to change the Supreme Court, the amount of people in the Supreme Court, doesn't it take more than just a Senate or congressional action?
No, it can be a bill. It can be done with just, versus a constitutional amendment, a law versus it can be just a law where it passes the House, passes the Senate, signed by the president. They can change the number of people on the court, because the Constitution doesn't mandate a certain number. Just obviously mandates that we have a separate and equal branch of government, the court, the judicial branch, but it doesn't mandate what the number is on the highest court.
So I have to start praying to God early because of the fact that. Oh my God! That's all I can say. Well, Chairman Jim Jordan of the Judiciary Committee, thank you for coming on this Sunday morning. And
you bet.
I'm going to church after this and lighting a few extra candles.
Good for you, John. Thanks for having me.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much.